I'm going to create another type of enemy now, which is going to be this maggot spawner, which is kind of like a sort of silo that shoots out these maggot projectiles that seek the player. So let's start by inserting an object, sprite, stick it on here. There's no animation to this because we're going to use an effect to animate it. Let's pod. Let's make sure it's all in the right place. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to create an image point here at the top of the entrance. Let's do that. And let's call that Maggot Launcher. And I'm also going to insert the sprite, which is the spawner as well, and call that, rename Maggot Spawn. And I'm going to create the projectile for that as well. So let's insert a new object, sprite, in the game. This one is an animation, so let's load from the sprite strip. And it's here. And there's 4 frames. Let's delete that frame. It's facing the right direction. Let's zoom in a bit. And set the collision mask and collision poly for that, and then set that apply to the whole animation. Let's click on the animation. We want it to I think with this one, yeah, it's a ping pong loop. So it'll play through the frames and then back through the frames again, backwards and forwards. We want it to loop, and the speed will be, let's try 15, see what that looks like. Let's preview that. Yeah, we got a little wiggly maggot thing there. Let's close that down, close that, rename that Maggot. Okay, so let's stick that to the side. Let's plonk that to the side and stick that here on this island, because the idea is kind of like ground mounted. And we'll set up the spawn like we did in the other one. So let's create, let's add another group, Maggot Launcher. Let's get rid of this. Let's open up the bug enemy. Let's copy that, paste it into there, and let's replace the object. So to destroy, replace object with the maggot spawn. Destroy that. So creating the enemy bug, we want to create the maggot launcher. Now we want to make it at maggot spawn.x maggot spawn.y, and we need to replace the object here with the maggot spawner, and replace the object here. Oh, it's not next to replace that. So what we'll do is add another condition, which is comparing the y is greater than or equal to y, the scroll dot y minus 338. You might have to change that figure, I think, when we test it out. And let's just delete that and stick that up there. We don't need this bullet speed. Delete that, and delete that for now. So let's just test that out, see if it's working. And there it is. Yeah, we need to change that figure slightly. So let's try 352. And I think that should do it. It should spawn off screen now. Let's try again. Yep, perfect. I'm going to use one of the effects to animate this. So on the Maggot launcher, I'm going to add an effect, which is going to be a distortion effect, and it's going to be a bulge. Okay, so then we can see the effect there taking effect, making it kind of bulge out. And what I want to do is sort of make it pulse. So if I take the scale and set that to 0, that's normal, and then we'll set it to 40 and it will kind of throb like that. So we need to kind of animate that value there. And the way I'm going to do that is add a behavior to this, which is sine behavior. Oh, I'm also going to add destroy outside of the layout, just to destroy that reference object. And we're going to system every tick. We're going to set the Maggot launcher effect parameter, which is bulge, and it's the second parameter, so index 1. And the value of this is going to be the sine wave. Now the way the sine wave works is this magnitude here, it'll go from 50 and then down to minus 50. I mean, you don't want that minus part of the sine wave. So what we'll do is, I'll show you what it does without this first. So I'm going to set the sine, set the this value to self, the sine behavior, and to value. Done. So this little bit of behavior just basically creates a sort of a number that goes up and down depending on how you kind of set it, and it can be set automatically to things like horizontal movement, vertical size, width. So you can make kind of things move from left to right, and it's quite a handy little bit of behavior. But what I want to do is just set up the value. So this is not actually controlling anything that's already preset in here. I have to set this in the event sheet. So that's what I've done. So I've told it that this parameter 1 on the bulge effect, the value of that is this sine behavior. Okay, done. And here I can set the period of the sine, which is basically how fast it kind of oscillates. And there's random periods, there's all kinds of things here. Magnitude is how much it's going to, in this instance, increase the scale by. So let's change that to, so at the moment it's 4 seconds to complete a cycle. So let's change that to 6. And have a quick look at what it's doing. So now you can see it's kind of shrinking in and out. I don't want it to kind of shrink, so what I'm going to do, and this is quite an useful thing to know, if we go back in here, if I put an expression before this called ABS, and this stands for absolute, and this will only give positive values. So instead of going to the minus 50 magnitude, it'll only go to 50 positive. So it'll go 50, 0, 50, 0 in increments. Okay, so let's just have a look at that and see what it does, and hopefully you'll get your head around what it's doing. So now it's only kind of bulging. I'm just going to decrease the amount of bulge on that. Let's try 30, see if that looks a bit better. Yeah, that's kind of cool.